Cormac, could you tell me how you got involved in doing art, and could you tell me about your early experience with it, please?
Well, to begin with, as to how to answer the question, I would basically I'd envisage that I did get a good enjoyment out of scribbling, doodling, doing cartoons from a mindset from an early age, and for henceforth, roughly about the age of 8, I discovered in fact that I could draw. I gained, I'd say, uh, great variance, great variation in art from thenceforth. I imbued the exploration of a Thundercats cartoon sticker book drawing. It was that was the turning point, perhaps you could say, in my artistic career. Whereas I did have the origins of uh from my aforementioned accomplished tasks of doodling and scribbling with cartoons from my mindset.
Wow.
They were, in other words, I would say a slowly done tasks
Alright.
as to quick measurements, but
Alright. Could you tell me how your art? Well, you've already kind of after answering this question a bit. Like you're talking there about when you were a kid drawing, and then is it true that you started getting more into art when you were 8? Was it?
yeah, I got into art then. I envisaged. I began doing family portraits, physical reproduction from artistic photographs from magazines, half pictures in primary school, secondary school, like life drawing, life modeling classes
Alright.
in school.
And where are you originally from? Wexford, aren't you?
I'm originally from Wexford. I was born in Wexford General Hospital. I'm 38.
Uh, and you went to school in primary and secondary in Wexford, did you?
Uh, in Scortia in Wexford Town.
Alright. Okay, could you tell me what kind of art you do these days, and to say about your artwork over the last, say, year or two?
Well, these days, I have, I would say, again, added merit to my artwork. I have increased the imbuement of enjoyment in my art. I've been going about meddling with the construction of birthday, Christmas, and Valentine's Day cards.
Uh,
I've gained a lot of
Sell these, do you?
not at the moment, but I have gained observation of the possibility of selling it in the Writers and Artists Yearly Handbook, whereas it got mentioned there. So I would reckon in the future I would go about self publishing my art
Alright.
as I have also as it has mentioned it in my online book Art is Everything, Art is Life, which is displayed on Creates Place, Amazon Kindle, and Smashwords for
Yeah,
sale.
could you tell us more about this book? I was just going to ask you about it. Go ahead, yeah.
Well, basically, the book explores the art of history telling as apt, as perfect, as precise, as predominant as I can envisage it to be, as accurate, as historical, as well researched, as to the point it can be.
What kind of history are you talking about?
I'm talking about darker, lost, timeless moments of history, forgotten history.
Like what? Like your history or people or other people's history?
Uh, John Netley, Sir William Gull, Robert James Lee's, Jack the Ripper, um, Robin Hood's, Little John, Robin Hood of Ballymore Eustace, Little John of Stony Batter, Robin Hood Legends, The Origins of Flight, the Ancient Atlanteans knew the secret of flight, considering the ancient Egyptians. I think they also tried. They also would have had uh, an engagement with it, as well as Francis Bacon's achievements with flight. Contrast to Leonardo da Vinci, we could also envisage that how in 1896 it's right that a Welshman beat the Wright brothers 7 years.
Are all these people in your book? Like, have you written about them or draw pictures about them in your book?
Well, my first book touches upon those subjects, but the second book, the two books that are on the way, hopefully as soon as possible in the new year, will explore the aforementioned in greater depth and detail. At the moment, my publisher needs to get in contact with a typist to take on the work so far, and I also mentioned to Oscar for the typist to, in other words, asterisk or point out the repetition work, as Oscar declared that there was repetition, so we have to iron that out.
Yeah.
And
And is your book that you brought out? What's the full title of it again?
my book is entitled "Art is Everything, Art is Life."
And am I right? It's a poetry book, and it has some of your pictures. Is that the way it is?
That's right. The cover book explores the majority of art and photographs of akin to my interests, uh, arising from the subtle subjects of still life, to the or mechanical structure of life drawing, in relation to the variants of abstract art, how, in other words, anyone can be an artist. One just has to set about going about it. Anyone can mold a piece of clay. Art is everything. Art is life. Like, art has many forms, different meanings to be taken out, extracted from the subject. Art is infinite. There's endless possibilities within the subject, or realm of realms within the subject. There's no real answer to. There's no. It's art is a subject that relates to, like, what is life.
Yeah.
It's a question that can go on forever. The life of a river, the life of a mountain, a human being, a person, a book, a life story, a journey of a river. There's so many dilemmas, sub contrasts within art, within life itself. It's not exactly true to say that life is transient, although some poets may say that in their works, because the soul doesn't die at death. The soul goes on forever, although not everyone reincarnates.
How are people able to get a copy of your book? Is it for sale? Is it? And
My
tell me
book
how much it
is
is.
for sale. My book's for sale on Amazon Kindle, CreateSpace, and Smashwords, the three online websites on computer. My book's for sale on Amazon Kindle, CreateSpace, and Smashwords. It's around $2.99 on Kindle, and it's €6 something on CreateSpace. I'm not sure how much it is on Smashwords, but it's readily available.
You have a website as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have a website. It's in conjunction with the book itself. What one does is to visit Cormac Baker at the, on the art on Artworld at www.cormacbaker.com. My website is entitled Artworld.
Okay, let's have a couple more questions, Cormac. Two more questions. Who are your favourite artists today and throughout history?
I would envisage my favourite artist to be the art of mankind itself, from man's earliest beginnings, shall we say, the Stone Age art discovered at Lascaux in France around the 19th century era. In contrast to that, I am very drawn towards the Impressionists, such as Monet, particularly his illuminating, picturesque, powerful, monumental pictures of art entitled Impression Sunrise, the eclipse of dreams, the impulse of delight, the glorious treasure of colour, the amazing imbuement of tragedy, the immersion of the amazing transience or transitory transition between the day morning to midday to night to
Are there any are there any particular artists that you really like? You mentioned Monet there. Are there anyone else like Leonardo da Vinci or
well,
anything?
I would be drawn towards Leonardo da Vinci. He was definitely a man of many parts. A lot of his notebooks today have been have supposedly so they say been lost. Have still to be found. In his notebooks, one can see shells that a 20th or 21st soldier would recognize.
21st Soldier.
Yeah, would recognize a parachute. Uh,
Oh yeah.
um, you'd see uh,
Plane. Was
uh,
it plane?
um, his concept of flights to airplane, helicopter,
Mm.
and the tank. Sir Ernest Swinton, he gave us the tank in 1915. The tank was also an American conception with their tank Little Willie the in the 20th century around 1915, and it first saw action in the Somme in 1916.
Mm.
Um, Leonardo da Vinci presented us with a lot with an air of mystery and mystique about him. Um, a lot of it of Da Vinci's artwork is unfinished, albeit the fact being that Da Vinci suffered from attention deficit disorder. A lot of his artwork remains unfinished.
Mm.
But that said, it's I think it's amazing that art has been reproduced through photography. You can even see up to recently, one could see in Dublin today a photographic representation of the Last Supper, and even when I was at school, I think people did implore the same resemblance throughout art in the refectory at school. Um, a list of famous people such as were used, envisaged, explored, devised, came up with throughout the painting, such as the famous footballer, the French footballer, former footballer.
Henry, no.
He's now 50.
You're living in Castleknock now for the last 7 years. Do you like living in Castleknock?
I like Castleknock. It's a quiet area, and there's very little trouble here. I enjoy reading, television, music, particularly Absolute Radio 80s. Like reading. I love the Beano Horrible Histories magazine. I'm quite happy and settled here. Enjoy living with Barbara here. We got from Barbara. The shops are local. They're central. The bus is also and train. So we're well sorted and lot of comfort and um well catered for, I'd say.
Okay, just to finish up now, Cormac. What's your message to any aspiring artists who are listening to us today, or people who are doing art already, or are interested in the topic? What's your message to them in your own personal experience being an artist today?
I would reckon that from one nowadays, if one is already an adult nowadays, one has to dream upon the recognition that they never failed to do so as a child, or never thought about or constructed their emotions towards and untowards earlier in life. I reckon that one should pay close attention to the illustrations throughout the works of particularly of writers such as Beatrix Potter, Louis Carroll, Enid Blyton, and to gain recognition of their own interests. One could, for instance, one could be have taken a delight or akin to subjects such as history, parapsychology, science, and from thenceforth explore their artwork from writers and from those popular subjects as the aforementioned, as I said, history, science, parapsychology, art itself, or even geography, travel, exploration, and even to um, juxtapose photographs together, or use Google AdWords to promote their artwork, to use um, other means and mechanisms, methods such as ArtPal to sell copies of their art, to use Amazon, or to browse through books, and to begin by um to begin by tracing drawings first, and then to gradually um copy the trace drawing, and to even to, for instance, I would propose for one to sketch a drawing or a life drawing of a person, to map the structure out bit by bit, an oval shape for the head, across which would endue with the physical features, be it that of a man or a woman, and then to henceforth to construct and deconstruct the rest of the framework by um, similar oval or circular shapes for the rest of the body, and to erase and construct bit by bit. And the same can be said for that of drawing cartoons such as that of animals and dinosaurs, and um it all makes the job much more worthwhile, easier, uh, uh, handier to do, and less stress, more success, and it's a more worthwhile way to use, if perhaps someone else might be maybe more skilled in painting rather than drawing, or could be vice versa, could be the other way around. But um, one should uh, um, try and figure out at an early stage in life what one should shoot for, should go for. I reckon um, it's true what they say, like not to hide your talents under the bushel, or not to waste your life away, because you only regret it towards the end of one's life, not pursuing or endeavoring towards a great accomplishments, or what one could achieve, or what, although it back in Alexander the Great's time, the sages or the wise men back then declared that one would be long dead and gone, forgotten about, and glories are not no use to man, or they're in other words not worthwhile, that one would be long dead and gone, forgotten about. But um um with that said, I think particularly with my book, I've mentioned my favourite historical character, Robin Hood. I think I'm very drawn towards.
Yeah, it's a good sign you have there. Less stress, more success. And what you're saying as well is that if people want to be artists and they want to draw pictures or whatever they want to do in art, they have to draw on all different sources, yeah? Like from a
Yes,
wide range of sources.
combination is worthwhile. Although art teachers, art lecturers they'd say that those books, so-called books, to help you draw, go against the ethos of say an art college. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not totally not necessarily true, because you have to learn, you have to have some sort of a method as to how to, for instance, how to drive a car, how to play a piano,
You have to have experience.
how to experience, as to how to get good at sums, how to build up a framework, build up developments in the your chosen field of subject. You have to, um, as well as learn from the old masters, learn from today's
Okay.
newly come masters, as well as those to come. and one has to figure out what works best for oneself, or for what works for one man's medicine is another man's poison. Just one could relate that saying to it.
Okay, Cormac, it's great talking to you. I think I've learned a good bit of information about art from you. I've never been good at art myself. I did art for the junior cert, and I did ordinary level, and I scraped a D.
No, sure,
And but no,
don't put yourself down, sure.
oh no, no. So I have other interests anyway. I'm not big into art, like drawing. But it's great talking to you, Cormac, and I'll be talking to you again some stage. Thanks very much.
You're welcome, Darren. No problem. It's great talking to you too. Thanks for the interview. Thanks for your help. Thanks for calling.